Hi, kids. Hi, kids. How you doing tonight? It's Joni Wilson from Nashville, Tennessee, and I'm so glad that you're tuning in again tonight so that we can get to chapter 5 of The Dog Rescuers, book 1. Kiddo Trains a Rescuer. And we're going to get to that in a second. A lot of you were worried about Mojo. And so Mojo, I took a picture of him. He's in his little kennel right now, resting very well. He had his little surgery yesterday. He's home now and in the kennel, and he's already going to sleep. And his dad is watching him right now while we can do our live broadcast. So Roxy Roo is with me. As you can see, she's already tucked herself into bed and she likes to snore. I don't know if you guys have a dog that likes to snore, but that's Roxy Roo. She's a snorer, even though she's super cute and she's got a little pink shirt on and all these things called messy hair I don't care on her little t-shirt tonight. She's so tired. She just and she just tooted. Did you just poot? And she pooted. All right. Well, we're going to put her back to bed before she gets a little grumpy with me. You know what? I get kind of grumpy too if people wake me up. I don't like it very much. One thing about dogs, though, they are your best friend and they keep you warm and they snuggle with you. But most of all, I think that dogs rescue us. I think even if everything is going perfect in our life, there's always a little something that the dog will do to just make us smile or feel a little better. Every day, a dog rescues us. And so that's why it's kind of nice, if you can, to rescue a dog or a cat. They need us. So that's kind of what this whole book series is about. But most of all, it's just about how important they are in our lives and how much we really are very much alike, and we can be best friends with God's animals as well. What a great concept. So I got a lot to do tonight because chapter 5 is kind of on the longer side because there's a lot that's about to happen. So I wanted to quickly just show you Kiddo and his caricature. Okay? This was drawn by a girl named Kimberly Cranfield. She's just so good. And Kiddo and Zeus, just to recap now, Zeus has come to Abby's house, the little girl where Kiddo just showed up out of the blue, and he's actually secretly training her how to become a dog rescuer. Now, she doesn't know this. She just thinks she's found a dog and she's got to go find its home. But Kiddo has big plans for her, and he is training her to be a dog rescuer. Okay, waiting for her to get old enough and figure out the ropes. Now, he's also communicated with a dog with his mind that also needed rescuing in the area, and his name is Zeus. Zeus is a Great Pyrenees. Great Pyrenees are really big dogs, like 150 pounds. I used to have one. And so Zeus came from his own farm where the farmer wasn't really treating him well, so he decided to give himself a new gig. So he's answered the telepathic message from Kiddo to come on to Abby's yard, and we're going to get her to rescue both of us. She doesn't know it yet, but that's what they're planning. Okay, and that's where we start with chapter 5, Alliances. Book 1, Kiddo Trains a Rescuer. Chapter 5, Alliances. And I'm going to show you this drawing as well. As you can see, we've got Luke, Abby's next door neighbor, the coolest kid in the neighborhood, who's now becoming friends with Abby because he's getting into this whole dog rescuing thing too. He's like, wow, there's now 2 dogs to rescue? I'm going to help Abby. Luke's dad is a veterinarian, so Luke has some good information too that kind of helps Abby along. And in the meantime, they're both becoming friends. And Abby doesn't have any friends, so this is nice for her. She's got the dogs now becoming her friends. She's got Luke becoming her friend. So everything is happening in a positive way. So, Alliances, chapter 5. That night, as the dogs sat under the stars alone, Abby provided blankets and pillows to keep them comfortable. Kiddo quietly told Zeus how he had been hiding behind trees while watching Abby for some time now. The kids had been bullying her for months. Every day they follow her in the park and they call her names. She acts very brave on the outside, but I know it's eating away at her. I've been waiting for the right moment to help her. Help me so I can help her. And for her to get old enough to handle the dog rescuing tasks I'm going to put in front of her. I have been waiting for the right time for the master plan to begin. I can't wait any longer. Kiddo's heart was breaking for Abby as he told Zeus what was truly going on. Here we see Zeus and Kiddo sleeping out under the stars, okay? And they're starting to get to know each other and what's going on with each other's stories. And Kiddo's telling them all about Abby and why he's chosen her to become trained to be a dog rescuer. Kiddo could relate to Abby. He told Zeus the story of how he was also bullied for being different. When I was a puppy, my parents discovered I had a secret power. It happened by accident, really. We were living in a storm drain since we were homeless and without humans. One day, 2 men scooped us up in nets and brought us to a shelter. They were very, very nice to us and fed us well. It was me, my parents, 10 other puppy brother and sisters, and my litter, and a whole lot of other dogs from many walks of life. We didn't have toys or treats, but we had something way more important. We had each other, and we had love, and that was enough, said Kiddo. Then I developed a way of telepathically telling the other dogs in the area to come to the shelter to get rescued too. And over time, the shelter became overwhelmed. All the dogs became upset with me, believing that there would not be enough food for them if I kept inviting more dogs to show up. I was the only dog I knew of that could send secret messages with my mind, and because the other dogs couldn't do it, they would be so unkind. Kiddo sadly remembered. Zeus put his paw on Kiddo to comfort him as Kiddo continued his story. I didn't want the others to starve, and I didn't want to be made fun of any longer. I knew there must be others out there needing help. So one night I hugged my parents and pups goodbye and headed out on my own, Kiddo explained. After crying for days, I finally got mad. I resolved that I'm a living creature and I also deserve the best, and no one has the right to keep me down or depressed. Kiddo continued to tell his story. He told of how he kicked into gear and fought back with a new attitude. He felt that in his spirit and in his heart, he grew 10 feet tall and was no longer a little dog that he saw in the mirror. Zeus was so impressed with this new little buddy, as Kiddo explained how he turned it all around. I started my own dog rescuing business, working from the inside out. I would do some consulting on the side, too, for extra treats, because I'm no man's dog, but every dog's friend. A life of roaming can be lonely, and I would like to find my right human and retire someday, but for now, it's important work. Humans need us more than ever, now, more than ever. So we have got to stay focused and help them find us the right homes, Kiddo said. He jumped up and proudly announced. See Kiddo getting stronger by the minute. He might be a little dog, but when he looks at himself in a mirror, he's huge. And we should all feel good about ourselves like that. When you look at yourself in the mirror, I want you to know that you're beautiful inside and out. I turned my smallness into tallness. I turned my secret talents into a purpose, said Kiddo. Kiddo knew this wasn't enough. He needed Zeus to help with the master plan and had hoped that Zeus could relate. So what's your story, pal? He asked Zeus. Zeus sheepishly replied, in a country accent since he was a dog from the country. I received your secret message and it was exactly what I needed. It made me finally believe help was out there, so I too mustered up the courage to get rescued. I realized I deserved better. I realized I was being neglected and being bullied by my human. Kiddo jumped up and down and happily yelled, "The big white dog in the sky will always let the right humans walk into your life once you let the wrong humans walk away first." Zeus just kind of snickered to himself when Kiddo barked that quote and said, "Many dogs make a mistake. They mistake me for the big white dog in the sky when they first meet me." "Dude, I so thought you were the big white dog in the sky at first. For a split second," Kiddo snickered back. "No, I'm just a working dog here on Earth trying to find a way to my right master," Zeus said. Kiddo replied in rhyme, "We have a lot more living to do before we die and meet the big white dog in the sky." Zeus proudly puffed up. Kiddo could see the transformation starting. "You see, I'm digging deep within and seeing the true picture. I'm called a guard breed. That makes me proud and loyal to a fault. I can run a whole farm of sheep, and no one ever had to teach me. That's in my DNA. It has been in my blood for 2,000 years. Gifts from my great-granddaddy to my granddaddy, and my granddaddies came all the way from Europe, the Pyrenees Mountains, in between the countries France and Spain, to be exact. Look on a map," Zeus explained in detail. "I realized when I saw my special dew claws to help me climb mountains, I was designed for great things. I woke up one day and yelled out, 'I can literally climb mountains. I don't have to put up with abuse,'" barked Zeus with pride. Kiddo cheered at the courage of his new friend. "So when the farmer disrespected you and treated you mean, you knew you deserved to be loyal to a whole other scene?" "Well, you got that right, little buddy. I don't mean to be rude, but I am curious. Do you always rhyme, Kiddo?" Zeus questioned. Kiddo said, "Well, yes, I do. I think it's cool. It's the way I communicate and a great marketing tool." Here is Zeus's life as a guard dog. He guards sheep on big farms. That's what a Great Pyrenees dog is bred to do. However, I had my own Zeus dog, and he lived just in a house with me in my little yard, and he was just as happy and loved that too. So Kiddo proceeded to explain to Zeus that he was sending many telepathic messages to dogs all over the place, needing help and care, and that he needed a partner to help him help Abby in order to get ready. More dogs are coming. He always knew that Abby was new to dog rescuing, and he said to Zeus, "She's a little green." "Well, she doesn't look green to me," Zeus said. Kiddo laughed. "No, green means inexperienced. I also suspect she's a cat lover of all things." "But you came to the right place for sure. She is taking to her training well, and with your help, I have found us a great dog rescuer." While Kiddo and Zeus were forming their alliance in the backyard, Luke and Abby were forming theirs inside the house. With their parents' permission, Luke and Abby forged their friendship, finding a common cause by making found dog posters on the computer. They went to a link called Home Again, where people have to put a little chip of information in their dogs. So to get searched if their beloved lost pets, just in case they get lost. They found that this is the fastest way of finding your lost dog. They also put up found dog posters online for thousands of people to see. And they called the shelters and the veterinarian offices. They called the radio station, and they called Mick on the Mic show, who gave them a big shout out on the radio. However, in the middle of all this effort, Luke and Abby never suspected they were in the dog rescue training and part of Kiddo's master plan, secretly training them how to rescue themselves. Although Abby was on a mission for the dogs, she realized she was no longer feeling lonely. The kids in the neighborhood would stop and talk to her rather than just make fun of her. They'd offer her a cookie and offer the dog a treat. Having the cool kid Luke around helping her didn't hurt either. But could it possibly have been something much more? There's Abby putting the posters out, hanging posters to try to see if she could find the dog's owners. But she doesn't realize these dogs don't have owners. She doesn't know this yet, but she will. Zeus and Kiddo looked on with pride as they walked the neighborhood on the leashes with Luke and Abby. "Can you see it and feel it in the air, Zeus?" asked Kiddo. "All of the walking in the sunshine is making little Abby stronger, and her new purpose as a dog rescuer is making her walk taller." "Yep, that's the look of a human feeling better about herself. And the better she is feeling about herself, the better the others feel about her. It's like magic. Just like us. I feel the same way when they say, 'Good boy.' I live for that," Zeus said. "I live for belly rubs," Kiddo barked. "Me too," said Zeus. "And back scratches," said Kiddo. "And sticking my head out the window of the car," said Zeus. "Oh, yeah, that's the best," said Kiddo. Okay, let's stay focused," they both agreed. After 2 weeks of leash walking and poster hanging, Abby started to feel conflicted about not finding the dogs their original homes. She was growing fond of them and knew it was going to become more difficult to give them back to their original owners each day that went by. The good news was she was clearly becoming a bona fide rescuer. She had learned all the different ways to get the information about a lost or found dog out there. She learned many things about dog breeds and what they ate when they needed walks and even when they needed to poop. She learned about how dogs became domesticated. She couldn't wait to tell Luke all about it, so she ran over to Luke's house and banged on the door, and was with so much excitement the whole neighborhood could hear it. "Geez, Abby, what's up with you? Did you take vitamins or something?" Luke laughed. Abby replied while breathing heavily, I don't know what's gotten into me. I want to run and jump and play and all day outside in the sun. The dogs are making me want to learn things. I'm obsessed with dogs. Big ones, little ones, brown ones, white ones, smooth coats, rough coats, scruffy, clean, dirty, and ones with bad breath. She danced around Luke's front porch. I can't get enough. Luke joined in her excitement and walked her to school. He was 2 years older than her, so she was telling him things he already knew, but he was nice and continued to encourage Abby with what she had learned. Did you know over 10,000 years ago, wild wolves started to come around in campfires of early man, and man would throw them food? Eventually, the wolves would come in closer for warmth from the fire, and they would all hang out. They became friends when they started to help each other do chores like hunting and carrying things on their backs, when they became best friends. Best friends. See, I guess everyone needs best friends, said Abby. Luke stood and smiled and shook his head. It's exciting to be around dogs for the first time, isn't it? That's the end of chapter 5. And I actually promised you guys last night that I would play you a little song that I wrote. And it is a song that is on www.thedogrescuers.net. That is a page that's designed just for you kids to go to. It's free. And you can go there and you can join the Paw Club. You can learn about dog breeds. You can even learn about some of the words that I'm using tonight in the book. There's a little legend of explanations of some of the words that you might not know what they mean. So go check that out. And every dog has their own song, and including Kiddo. He has his own song. He wishes he was a big dog because he sees all the attentions that Zeus gets. So I wanted to say to all the kids tonight that are with me tonight, I'll see you tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Central Time, okay? And I just wanted to give a shout out to all the kids in Canada, because I'm actually in Nashville, Tennessee is where I live, but I'm actually originally from Canada. So they're all my friends and my family members and their kids are watching tonight. I also want to say hi to all the kids in the United States and in Germany and in France and in Spain and in Mexico. We've got kids from all over the world now that are tuning in and watching this, and I really, really appreciate it. I hope you're enjoying it too. And here's your song, I Wish I Was a Big Dog. Oh, you could go hear the whole thing if you want to go on thedogrescuers.net.
Some are looking for a place to call home. Some will settle for scraps and bones. Some got it made and some don't. Some might sit and stay, but I want my living legs know how to roam. My dreams are bigger than where they can go. Sick and tired of being called cute. I wish my size matched my attitude. Well, I wish I was a big dog. Well, I wish I had some big paws. I could run faster to my next meal and master. I'm talking big, y'all. Like Santa Claus, I've got what you call all the pup syndrome.
Good night, kids. We will see you tomorrow night, same time, 8 p.m. Central, and we'll read Chapter 6 of Book 1, The Dog Rescuers. Good night. Go to bed good for your parents.